welcome to the Lone Machinist podcast, the podcast where it's just you, your tools, and the work. No team, no backup. I'm Jamie from JSpec Engineering, and every episode we're tackling the highs and lows of flying solo in the machining world.
And I'm Curt from Confounded Machine, here to chat about everything it takes to make it as a one-man show in the shop. From grinding and turning to the struggles of running a one-person operation, we're sharing the stories, the tricks, and the challenges that come with going it alone.
If you're out there in the shop grinding away by yourself, or just thinking about taking a solo plunge, this show's for you.
So throw in your ear protection and let's talk about life behind the machine.
Oh, Kurt, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty fantastic. How are you doing, Jamie?
Yeah, carrying on. Had a long day, but got some stuff done at least.
That's, I guess, all that matters.
Yeah.
Cool. What kind of stuff did...
Well,
coffee cup sticking. There we go. Okay.
So the making my own locating pins quest continues.
Oh yeah, that's hard turning the little dowel pins you're buying?
No, dowel pins are oversized.
Oh, okay.
So
Carry on
I did
then.
one better. So dowel pins, depending on which one of the dowel pins I measure, somewhere between 10 and 20 microns oversized. So between 4 and 8 tenths. So I was out Meadowdale side of the world, I was out seeing a customer dropping stuff off at Anno and powder coat. On my way back, I was like, hey, hang on. I went to 3D printing store firstly to go try buy a 10 millimeter linear shaft. They didn't have. So then I was going to CNC Support to pick up a 5C collet, and I realized that my ex-boss's son's company is right there, and he does linear guides. So I hopped off the freeway, went in there. That was an hour and a half catching up, and there's no hard feelings between me and Dave. So we ended up having a long chat and going through their showroom where I took a picture of that awesome 2 millimeter linear guide. It was insane. Like literally the square guide is 2 by 2 millimeters. It's nuts. So anyway, I had a long chat to him and was probing about the tolerance on their shafts. So I bought 670 millimeters of shaft and made them cut it into 20 millimeter pieces for me. And it comes in 5 microns under nominal.
Oh, perfect.
So 10 or 9.995. So
nice.
2 tenths under, between 2 and 4 tenths under is the actual tolerance. So those my brother-in-law picked up for me because I obviously didn't want to wait for them to cut out to get back. So my brother-in-law picked them up. I got them yesterday, and then this morning threw them in the lathe and did the little taper turning. And you can see, because they're only case hardened, you can see where it goes from soft to hard on some of the parts. There's actually a line there where it cut fine. It's a clearance, but you can see exactly where that is, and it's a lot deeper than I expected. It's probably a good millimeter into the pin.
Oh wow! Okay, that's significant.
No. So those are all turned now. I just need to mill the diamond onto them, but that's a later in the week problem. Right now, I'm busy pushing bodies through machining. I also really like my LK because its managed hole tolerance is tighter than I can measure. So far on, let's do the maths thing again. Except for someone who's a freaking calculator, because my wife will make a funny video of me again. So far, we're coming up on 80 holes that I can't measure deviation on.
And you're just interpolating the holes?
Yeah, interpolating the hole. I cannot measure part to part. I can't measure any deviation.
Nice.
So I'm like, sweet. LK is doing the LK things. I know at some point there's going to be a chip stuck in the taper or something dumb, but I've got to stop in the program. The part's brought forward to me. I check the size and continue. And that way I can try and mitigate as much as possible. But so far on like 70 holes, I haven't had any variation.
Oh, that's sick. That's nice. And how many of those? Oh, okay, 70 holes. How many holes per body?
So op one, there's 4 per body, 4 16 mil holes, using a 6 millimeter end mill. So just nothing super fancy, just my generic 6 mil. And then on the top of the body, it's now some 9.98 holes, and those are 9.98s so far on 4 parts without incident.
Nice. Okay, so you've done
exactly on.
I guess I should say how many bodies is that?
16.
16 bodies. Okay, wow, that's a lot of runtime too.
Yeah, it is a lot of runtime, and yeah, you made me eat my words, but guess that's what happens. Because remember how I was all like, "Yo, no, I can't see there being any problem running 16 of these things. It'll be easy." Yeah,
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
what worked for 4 does not work for 16. So,
What problem did you run into?
machining the K110 or the D2. Um, I held the piece last time, faced it, bored it, did my OD, like just the front flange, and then I used a grooving cycle to groove out the back. And that is a really friggin' stupid way to do it. It's fine when you're doing 4, but when you're trying to do more than that, it's really not the most efficient way to do it. So I did 2 in a row, but I could get 4 parts out of an insert, and then the insert would start to chip on the grooving. So yeah, next time I'm going to order I also end up wasting about 20 mils of material to be able to hold it in the chuck reliably. So next time I'm just going to order it like 3 or 4 millimeters longer than I need it, hold it in hard jaws, machine op 1, bore it out because those are the 2 features that have to be concentric. And then I'll machine soft jaws and just hold it in soft jaws and machine the back off. It'll probably cut 3 minutes off my cycle time as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but we're living and we're learning. Like,
oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
well, the finishes that you have, the finishes
yeah.
on my beta unit, they're like it's a nice finish that you're getting on that material. So
yeah, no, that's hard
it's
in the
working.
ground. It's actually it should be ready. Should have been ready today. It's probably going to be ready tomorrow. It's been heat treated already. All 16 of them, or 15 of them went to heat treat. I ruined one
nice.
of them. Yeah, one came up a little bit short, so I'm going to have a few random spares at the end of this run, but that is what it is.
Sick.
So yeah, cranking along with those. So yeah, the next thing to go off is going to be the anodizing because we have 1 million public holidays coming up. In the next 3 weeks, we have 4 public holidays.
Oh, wow.
This was my favorite time of year where I used to work. We used to take 6 days leave and get like 15 days off. Because we would take it. Yeah. It's great when you're an employee.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's great when you're employed by somebody else. And when you're working for yourself, you're like, oh okay. I guess I'll just lose a bunch of time here.
Well, I'm planning for it now. I might still get acid for my ano setup this week. I went to try buy this morning and they didn't have stock, so they've got to order it in. And they're like, no, pay first and then we'll order it in. So I was like, whatever, just take my money. Like I literally probably need half a liter and I had to buy 2.5 liters of sulfuric acid. So I have enough for when I need to change over again. Because we had a minor issue on the anodizing setup over the weekend. Which is now holding up a bunch of money because I've got orders that need to go out that need anodizing. But yeah, setting up the first ano run, had parts in the tank, was about to switch the power on, thought, let me just adjust the heat exchanger. And as I grabbed the pipe broke off in my hand, off the heat exchanger, and then contaminated all my acid with the cooling water. So I was like, well, I guess this is it now. So my wife was out. She was buying ice so I could carry on running ano. So when she got back, we drained the tanks, took them outside, went and bought drain cleaner and neutralized the acid, like 17 liters of acid, which went so much quicker with drain cleaner. I used bicarb last time and it took like 4 or 5 kilos to do a 2-liter jug. So caustic soda is way more fun. And then we overshot the pH, so it was drain cleaner that I poured down the drain. Chased it had the tap running, poured it slowly, and then chased it with a bucket of water. So it's someone else's problem now. But then we neutralized and got rid of it. And then I had 7 liters of acid that was too strong from when I previously mixed. Because being smart, I went, volume. No, it's mole, so it's weight. And I mixed my acid, too strong. So I had to decant like 7 liters into little 5-liter things. So I had that, I threw that in, and then I topped up, and I was just short of sulfuric that I had. So anyway, ano's down for the moment, but it should be, hopefully I'll get acid by Thursday, because Friday's public holiday, Monday's a public holiday, and then the 1st of May is a public holiday, and I think there's another one in there somewhere. Oh yeah, the 27th. Yeah. 27th is a Sunday, but it moves to a Monday because we can't let a public holiday go to waste here.
Yeah, it sounds about the same around here. We have like a Friday, Monday, and then it just kind of all stacks up. But
we have stupid amounts of holidays. But 27th is Freedom Day. the day I got married.
Nice.
Doubles as always having public holiday on my anniversary, which is great. But
That's pretty
freaking day.
slick.
Yeah, I thought it was quite fun. So
Yeah, we got
yeah.
so
Oh,
me
your
and my wife
Easter's
got married
coming up.
on we got
Oh
married
yeah,
on
so
7-Eleven. So I always joke that everyone gets free
yeah,
Slurpees on my anniversary. So yeah, it worked out pretty
nice.
good.
Yeah,
Totally
yeah,
by
no,
accident, but yeah.
yeah. Well, we got engaged on the 27th of April, and then we got married on the because we were down in Durban visiting my mates and my mom, and we went for a hike, and I put her on the edge of a cliff, and I'm like, "Do you want to get married?" So she said no. I was just going to push. Yeah, on the edge of a cliff one time. But yeah, I'd been down in
Nice.
Durban for work the week or 2 weeks before. So my mom knew, my mate and his missus knew that it was coming. So yeah, she was surprised though.
Oh,
But
that's awesome.
yeah, that was great fun. And then yeah, an entire year so we could get the public holiday. It's also like my cousin's birthday and the aunt I used to stay with when I moved to Joburg's birthday on the same day.
Sick. Well, lots of family, lots of fun. That's good.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
let's
anyway,
see.
well, yeah, you've been productive. I've been just sick AF this entire week. So I spent all my time just relaxing, doing nothing. Just mainly a cold, but cold with a fever that just takes you out and just like can't do anything. So I struggle bust my way through getting the rest of the Canada pens out. And once that was off my mind, I'm like, all right, not taking anything else on. I'm just gonna hibernate for a while. So
Yeah.
uh,
I'm hoping that doesn't happen to me because my little nephew was grumpy as all sin yesterday, and then this morning
oh
had a
no.
fever, so got taken to the hospital.
Oh no, yeah, that's
So
my cause. My little petri dishes. They just go around and they collect all the fancy viruses and mix them
so
together and give them to me.
I'm not drinking coffee this evening. I'm drinking a hot ginger to try and solve this. This is a third one since last night. This morning I was feeling like shit, so I had one while I was running the lathe, and then having one now. I might have one again before I go to bed, and just overdose on it and go to bed and just sleep it off.
Yeah, I know. I'm drinking the same. I'm drinking. I got kombucha on one side of me, and I got black tea on the other side. So trying to just hedge my bets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Yeah. Did you see those LE discs that I ended up making this week?
The which ones? Because I saw the ones that you were making for the desks.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, those ones. I think that
Okay,
was.
yeah. I did see those with the slot in them. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Those ones. Doing all the slotting. Turns out when you've got flood coolant, you can slot aluminium without really worrying about it.
Oh yeah.
I was also using a corn cob end mill, which helps. But yeah, I just slotting my way through it. I needed to cut cycle time on it. I've got to do another 100 of them tomorrow.
Holy
I thought,
smokes.
yeah, I was told material would come today and it didn't arrive, so I'm assuming it's coming tomorrow. So my plan is to run bodies till they finished, throw them in their crate, and then run those stupid things until they finished, and then do one trip to anodize on Wednesday
Nice.
because they're all going to anodize. But yeah, dialed that in, and then 4 minutes a cycle. Just go print money. It's
Nice.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it? And it's
So
all
now,
coming in as plate that
yeah,
just goes
I get
directly
a
into the mill.
saw cut plate, throw it in the mill. I machine the top, machine the slot, machine the hole, and then it goes on a fixture, and I machine the perimeter and chamfer the perimeter. So super straightforward. Like yeah, just a little bit annoying that it's only a 4 minute cycle, and I don't really want to build a proper fixture to run two at a time to gain a whole 8 minute cycle when I don't know if it's going to come around again. Like it's kind of point to diminishing returns there.
Oh,
But yeah,
and before we drift too far off your acid stuff, I
yes,
don't know if you follow Dan Gelbert on YouTube, but he released a new video. He
yes.
has like the air bearing lathe and all. Just if you haven't watched his videos, Dan Gelbert, Google him. Just find his YouTube video. Watch every single one of them. They're all fantastic. But he
Yeah, I
released
went
a
and
new one, and
watched the one you recommended. I saw that
there's a little
recommendation.
there's a little about 2/3 of the way through. There's a spot on just rust. He talks just about rust in a
Yes,
machine shop, and it's like talking exactly about like how you keep hydrochloric acid. I have hydrochloric acid, and I no longer have hydrochloric acid here as of like a year ago because it just rusts everything. And
rust
he
everything. Yeah,
explains why it. Yeah, he explains why it does that, and he explains like how to like prep some of your tools so that they don't. Anyways, such a good video. Go watch it.
yeah.
It's
No,
if you're
it was
if
a
you're into that
really good.
jazz,
His accent's very entertaining too.
I like it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Old guy with
it
just a
was great.
boatload of info.
Yeah, a guy who's full of like decades of knowledge and is sharing it.
Yeah, and like $1 million machine shop that he's just built for his like now for his enjoyment. Like it just
Yeah.
super super cool. I mean,
So I'm
probably
not like
many
I've got
millions
the
of
ano
dollars.
still. I kind of want to not do ano anymore, but I don't trust anodizers.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like it's
It's
such
also
that's
the mag bases are such a high mix. Like the guys will order 3 of this, 4 of that, 5 of that color, and then okay, cool. Do I make 20 of each and send them to anodizing, and then just have them on the shelf and potentially never move them? It's yeah.
yeah.
But when I look at the actual time that I spend anodizing, that might not be a shit plan. Like buy 100 parts worth of material, do 5 of each color, or 20 of each color, and just call it a day. Like these are the colors we have. It's all we offer now. These are the stock holdings we have. If you want something different or you want more, there's a lead time involved. And just take it off my
Yeah.
plate. Because at some point, I'm going to
Yeah.
have to. As much as I like having Anno in-house, at some point, I think I might have to stop.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want
Yeah.
to.
Well, especially for all the stuff it carries, where you have to like have all the tanks and like it's a procedure as
Yeah.
opposed to like I do a ton of titanium anodizing, but it's voltage.
Yeah.
It's a way different
Yeah,
kettle of
that's
fish. Like
easy.
there's
Yeah,
it's
I've
way
got
easier than
a whole
aluminum.
corner of the workshop is just dedicated to anodizing.
Yeah.
I should
Yeah.
probably put better ventilation and suck all the fumes out, but I just blow them around and share them with the rest of the workshop.
Yeah.
You just don't want hydrogen building up in the corner, then it gets explosive. It also gives you heart attacks, which isn't super healthy. But
Yeah. Like
have you ever changed the FEP film on your printer?
oh, many a time. Many a time.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
killed my first one.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm nuked the first one by cleaning it. I wiped it with paper towel because I'm like, oh, this is an easy way to get it all out, and it just
Uh,
scratched the piss out of it. So yeah, no, I've changed
okay.
FEP a billion times.
Yeah, I had to change my first FEP. It had 2 holes in it and was causing
Oh
prints to
wow,
fail.
that weird.
So at some point, I think I didn't clean the bed after or clean the vat after a print when I was printing some random crap, and something got left in there and pushed a hole through. The LCD's still fine, just it then leaked through and hardened, and then was causing rips on my prints. So then I swapped it out and works like a bomb again. Oh,
Sick.
less like a
Yeah.
bomb, less explodey.
Yeah, I
But
find
yeah,
like if you have super, super optically perfect FEP, your prints come out so much better.
yeah, I printed another 20 of those things last week. Like those
Nice.
guys are, yeah. I've gone through 10 liters of resin now.
That is so
10,
much.
10, 12, I don't know, lots of resin. But yeah,
That
they
is so
finally,
much.
yeah, they've been bringing parts to get them laser marked. I'm like, I charge you enough for these, just bring them and I'll laser mark them. It takes me like 30 seconds each. Like each one's got its own IMEI number and QR code. But in Lightburn, it's super, super quick. I'm like, bring the things, I'll sort you out for this, don't stress.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
hopefully those guys will place some real orders soon. Because
Are
I'm
those
losing
still like
interest.
are they still like those are the production prototypes, or are they just they're now
Yeah.
using them as because I thought
No,
they were
they're
going to use them as
making they're making 40 units for testing for
Oh,
data
okay.
gathering, and then they will have a mold spun up and inject them. But I think
Oh,
they're
okay.
using these to just finalize their hardware as well.
I gotcha. Okay, that makes
Because
more
they
sense.
developed everything from scratch because the ones they were buying from China would arrive. So it's got a break off thing to turn it on. They'd arrive with it broken off in the box, and the thing's battery's flat. So yeah, they developed their own and are dealing with all the fun that comes with that. Making your own product is
Nice.
not an overnight. They seem to think it's an overnight thing, and it's really not.
Yeah, no,
Especially
there's a
when
lot
it
that goes
ties
to
in
it.
as much as theirs does. Like even the access control stuff, they were rewriting firmware like a week ago. They were meant to launch at the beginning of this month. Yeah, this week they having the internal demo, and then if everyone in the company's happy, they will push it to customers. I'm like, stop dragging your feet because you're not getting the same price next time if you order 100 units. You're ordering 500 or you're getting a higher price. End of conversation.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
I did the first 100 as like a small batch, yeah, sure, thinking the order was coming quickly, and I'm tired of being paid in promises now.
Yeah, it's hard to pay any other bills with those things, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And them dragging their feet has really put a complication in my life especially with trying to launch Anchor Point and having tight cash flow because these clowns aren't placing the orders they're promising. So my tolerance there has run out.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you one bit for that. Yeah.
Yeah, entirely run out. But yeah, other than that,
Yeah.
busy with other fun things. Making
Nice. Well,
I've got to make drone parts. I haven't made them yet, but the guy finally paid for them. I've been making them for like 2 months, but because he didn't pay, I was like, "Nyeh. If you need them, ask for them." It's one of my mates. I'm like, if you need them desperately, just tell me, and they'll go to the front of the queue. But until then, like they're just going to be skipped down the road while I do other stuff. But now he paid me, so now I actually have to do the work. It's rather annoying. But yeah, I've done like 2/3 on the one part. I've got to just build a fixture to do the last little bit, and that's in my mind is a huge task. So I'll get around to it hopefully later this week.
Yeah, and it'll probably be far less of a task once you actually get into it. But
it's going to be like a 5-minute job. It's a 5-minute job.
Yeah.
Like to design and machine and be running is 5 minutes. But in my head, there's this giant mountain. Like that's something I still struggle with is molehills that in my head are mountains. Whereas I know, reality, it's going to take me a few minutes, but getting that, getting the mental inertia going towards it is a problem. It's mental inertia. There was a really clever wording for that, but I can't remember it.
Yeah, no, it's easy to do that.
Yeah, like getting started on stuff is the trickiest. But even today, was making pins. My tooling order finally arrived, and I'm like, okay, let me set up bodies. I was waiting for that other disc aluminium to arrive. Probably not going to arrive. Let me just start getting bodies going. But I know it's going to be a hell of a task to get it all dialed in and all the tools set up because I had new tools added to the mix. It took me probably an hour, and the first part was running, and there were a bunch of tweaks after that. And then by the third part, the cycle was locked in. Like had the optional stops where I wanted them, and I just ran. Like I only ran another 2 parts, but it just ran. Tomorrow morning I'll turn it on, warm the machine up, and I can run. Like it's all done. All the bugs are worked out now. Like with all the new tools and a couple blend lines I was trying to disappear, and a whole bunch of stupid little things.
Yeah. No, I do the exact same thing here with like just even like 4th axis parts. When I have to switch the mill over to run whatever, the lathe to run over something, I'm like, oh my, I got to switch it over to run this. And then like, I'm like, well, I'll postpone that. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do something different. And then I'm like, when you get to it, you're like, okay, that took me 1 minute and 42 seconds. Like, why was I psyching myself out for 1 minute and 42 seconds of work? Like,
yeah.
But
well, this morning I turned the LK on, made a 5C stopper because I needed one that had a narrower pin. So I designed it quickly, programmed it, did it in one op, turned the LK off and went and stood in front of the lathe and turned out all the pins, then turned the LK back on and then did something. I assume it was putting in the mooring point because that went in. I indicated it. Some idiot made the T-slot on it the wrong size because I made the model parametric and was messing with it and left it the wrong size and didn't check before I machined it. So it's perfectly 12 millimeters, except my T-slots are 14.
Nice.
Yeah, fucking great. So I ended up just taking 2 of the unit, the rulers, because they're 0.9 stainless, putting them in there and pushing it against it. And when I indicated the side of it, dead square. Because the T-slot keys are machined in the same op as the perimeter of the body. And then indicated that all in, got it all locked down, probed the top of it, and then took the last 0.25 off of the flat surface. And then, I think then everything just went together. It was quite nice. I put it in, checked the squareness of the anchor point unit, and it was awesome. Yeah, so that worked. That, again, only took me like half an hour, but in my mind, massive task.
Right,
also, couldn't
just build it up
the
and
riser.
psych yourself.
Couldn't reach it with my standard 12mm end mill. Let's use my stupidly long one. And that could only go 2 millimeters below the top of it because drill tap machines.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, like that was a bit tedious. But I figured out how to machine those in a somewhat reasonable manner. I had to square up my 2 vices, which is More effort than I want to put in, but took, again, 2 or 3 minutes, and they're squared to each other. They're in line, squared, and in line with each other, so I could clamp the thing between both vices.
Right.
But yeah, in my mind, giant mountains. So yeah, I did
Yeah.
that.
No, exactly.
Machined that yesterday on Sunday. I machined the mooring point, including
Yeah, I looked at that.
slamming a thread mill into the bottom of it. I'm very
Oh,
good at machining.
perfect.
Yeah, stir weld, then refaced the bottom because the stir weld's still there. I just faced it so it would be true or it would be flat. Like, it's fine. Have the idiot mark. It's my one. I thought, oh no, I should be able to thread mill that. It'll be fine. Yeah, no, thread mill wasn't sticking out enough, so I then just
Oh,
hand
okay.
tapped it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Sunday afternoon kind of story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, the top side of those looked really pretty. So,
yeah. The top side came out really, really well. Bottom side looks pretty too, except for that one little stir weld.
yeah,
I haven't actually hit a tool into things like often on that machine. I think I've done it maybe twice in the over a
that's a
year
good
that I've had
thing.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it is a good thing. Like, it's not a stir welding machine,
I
but
say, yeah, they don't like
yeah,
to do that.
generally not. Yeah, I got
Oh
a
boy.
yeah. Now I'm gonna have my favorite part of the show where I call Roger out. Hello, Roger, because I know you listen. He sent his customer who I make parts for, and Roger and I collaborate on the design generally and find issues. Like his 19mm dowel pins that actually needed to be 18. He sent me the model. I have a look. I'm like, is this where these go? Because these are 18mm holes, and you're asking for 19mm pins. But they want me to make a whole bunch of custom stepped dowels. So like 8.4mm down to 8mm. Really daft things for a big assembly jig.
Why? I mean, they have their reasons, I'm sure, but okay.
The hole's 8.5 in the toughnell, and they want an 8.4 dowel. So it's within comma 1/mil. But this assembly is like, it's not small. It's like 2 meters by a meter. It's freaking
Oh,
huge.
okay.
Yeah, no, it's big.
That's
So I'm
that's
making all
sizable.
the fixturing and jigging and stuff for them. So I'm just waiting for
Oh, cool.
finalized models so that I can actually get material pricing together for them.
Nice.
Yeah, fucking
Oh,
weird things I get to do.
yeah, well, on our last chat about printing a Voron, so I
Yes.
started printing all the Voron parts because I don't know, just felt like starting to print. Like I said, I'm sitting on just pounds or kilos and kilos of ABS, so I'm like, I'm just gonna make use of it, start printing them. Then I started looking at the kits online, and I realized, like, nowadays, there's, especially the Trident printer I was looking at,
Yeah.
there's a kit with CNC parts and like 4 motors to drive the Core XY mechanism. They call it all-wheel drive.
Yeah, all-wheel
Um,
drive.
so you get like way more acceleration, like just crazy over the top kits with like eddy current plate sensing, so that when you're doing bed leveling, it can just like fly over the
Yeah.
plate as opposed to like probing it. And anyways, these like top of the line kits are like $2,000, and the printed kits, or the kits without like any of the printed parts, are like $1,400 plus $200 shipping. So I'm like, okay, for like $400 or $600
Yeah.
difference, Canadian pricing too. I'm
Yeah.
going from like me not having to do anything and having like all the top of the line stuff, or me having to print, spend days. I'm like, it makes no sense to print these parts. And then furthermore, looking at my printer, I'm like, I have no need for a Voron printer. Like I do, like I've said in the past podcast, I
Yeah.
sometimes wait 10 months between printing. So I'm like, the reason I want it is because right now my extruder is kind of crap on my printer, and the Z-axis is really slow. So I'm like, well, I could just put new lead screws on the Z-axis. So I bought some of those, and I'm like, and I could just literally machine any single part for the extruder because I have an entire freaking machine shop sitting in my garage. Like, there's no part I can't make. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, I need to make a fancy hobbed bolt. Like, yeah, I could do that with any material. I can make a hardened, like I can do whatever I want. So I'm like,
Just
okay,
just buy a
let's just
knockoff BMG.
that's exactly it. I'm like,
Yeah.
or I could spend the $22 for a knockoff whatever. I'm like, so that's what I did. I just ordered a bunch of just cheap components. I'm like, I'm just gonna put this thing back together and just let it run. And then when I have a good printer, then I can make the proper decision if like I want to actually invest all this time into building a fancy Voron for something that's probably just gonna sit on my bench and collect dust 80% of the
No,
year.
that's
So
that's. Well, I mean, my printer. I think the last thing I printed was last week was the Imperializer stand. It's the last thing that I
Right.
ran through the printer. Like, I, I'll use it like excessively for a few weeks and then I won't touch it for a month. Like,
Totally. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And sometimes
coming up with
sometimes
robots. Then I print a shitload,
yeah.
but otherwise it stands.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to like have something in my hand to be like, well, how big is this thing going to be that I just designed? So I print it and I'm
Yeah,
like, cool. And then I throw the print in the trash. So I'm like, that's mainly what its use is for. Or I need like a weird widget to hold something in the shop here or a weird soft jar or something bizarre.
yeah,
That's when it gets used. And 90% of the time it just sits, or my wife wants something silly and I print that. But like, yeah, I just like, I don't need to go down this rabbit hole quite
yeah.
yet. So
Not yet.
yeah,
Avoid
I
the
got it. That's,
urge.
I get spun up. I mean, we all do. I think we all get spun up
Oh
on
yeah,
the new hotness so quickly. So it's like I just got to sometimes sit. My wife's really good at telling me that too. She's like, "Why don't you just like dream on this for a day or two and just like, yeah, good point, good point." So keeps me
yeah.
sane, keeps me from doing
Keeps you
stupid
in check
things.
a little bit.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I just tend to YOLO, which is less than ideal.
yeah. Well, like my time
But
is
yeah,
so like
so
I have so little of it
mentioned,
already. So
yeah, yeah, the dwarfs don't help with that.
well, just that, and there's like a million things I want to do. It's like, do I want
Yeah,
to like go down my list of things that I actually want to play with, and do I want to
yeah,
add to the list, like, or do I
printers
want to
not
pick
one.
off something that I want? Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. So,
Yeah, I felt old this week. I was on Friday. My mate Justin works from home on a Friday, so he was on Discord. So I popped onto Discord to catch up with him. And the whole 45-minute call, all we did was talk about his daughters and my nephews. I was like,
hmm.
I'm officially old. Like, we used to play video games. We don't anymore. Like,
Yeah,
he still plays games, but that is his hobby. Like,
right.
it's pretty much his, yeah, that is what he does as a hobby. So that's why he has time for it. Whereas my hobby is trying to not be poor.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
it's not easy. But yeah, anyway, my tooling order finally arrived. Kurt, finally. I was hoping it would be
uh,
on Friday. I got a new
oh, that was
face
the
mill.
one with the. Oh, okay. Was that the one also that replaced the grenaded lathe friction stir weld parting tool?
No, that was a different order. That I ordered
Oh,
locally.
okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay,
that
gotcha.
that already made all K110 parts, the new one. Also bought a
Sick.
25
Okay,
millimeter left hand boring bar to test out with the WNMG
right,
insert. Yeah, I
right.
haven't had a chance to run that yet. Well, the left hand insert part. No, I got a new face mill with some WN weird, uh, the triangle one
Mm.
inserts, like six tips per insert, and they're numbered, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
So when you
nice.
rotate them, you can work through the numbers. And started running that today, and oh my word, it cuts really well. So I'll
Oh
push it a
yeah.
bit harder once I'm done with the anchor point production. I bought it to do the back of anchor point. Like I wanted something that really super smooth.
Mm,
Whereas
hmm.
my what's it AMPT 1135s, I'm getting weird finishes on that. So I just yeeted it and put in the new one. I just need to reprogram everything to be a 50 millimeter face mill, not a 40 millimeter face mill.
Mm, mm,
Like I didn't
mm.
even bother reprogramming it for the anchor point. I'm like, man, it'll be fine. Extended one of the
Right.
lead-ins and it's okay. Like, oh no, it's cutting a little more than it's supposed to. It doesn't really make a difference. But yeah, I
Nice. It
also
was,
broke
yeah.
my record for number of tools in a single program today.
Ooh.
Mm. Uh,
Was
14.
oh, okay. As long as it's not over the magic 16.
Well, no, the magic 15 because number 16 is a probe in my machine always.
Oh, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so 15 tools is the limit, and yeah, there's one tool in there that isn't being used. Everything else is being used in this one job, which is pretty sweet.
Nice.
Like yesterday, I set the record at 13, and then today I broke it at 14 because I got
Ooh.
I'm running a 32 diameter, 12 millimeter length of cut T slot cutter.
Okay, that's a beefy
That's
one.
a freaking beefy one. So I'm roughing it with a 4 millimeter same 32, but 4 millimeter tooth, roughing out the slots, leaving comma one, and then just cleaning up the back of it with the big one.
Mm, mm,
Just so
mhm.
that it doesn't have ugly marks at the back of the slot because, the back of the slot, everyone's going to judge me for there being marks there.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
exactly.
being pedantic as hell on these things, but like I was dialing in some of the other little things like chamfers and things today, just trying to make it as good as it can be. Like there's
Right,
one
yeah.
more thing, like easy low hanging fruit, and that's buying a hydraulic holder to get better wall finishes, and that will happen on the next batch. I'm not going to have time to do it on this batch, so I'll order one
Nice.
when these sell, and then I'll have a 12 millimeter hydraulic for just specifically the perimeter with my silly
Nice.
long, like 4 times diameter 12 millimeter cutter.
Nice.
I mean, it's
Nice.
the finish. You can put your finger there and see your finger quite clearly. It just could be better. So
Right, yeah.
it'll make it better. I also noticed when I indicated the side of the part, as the load on the cutter increases, because it does an arc like this, as the
Right.
load increases, there's a little bit of deflection, and it's measurable.
Mm.
When I was indicating the side of the thing, it's 10 microns or so, but it definitely
Right.
goes up and down as you go back and forth. I was like, that's freaking cool.
Yeah, like all around the unit are there as they kind of go over the peaks in the center.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Your cutting load goes up. Yeah, I could do like 17 finish passes, but why? Like it doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
Really matter. Like, oh well, there's a high spot in the middle. Just go to the ends. You'll be fine. But yeah, I put the mooring points in, and the indicator didn't move. I was like, this is awesome.
Nice.
And then I indicated the top. So I haven't skimmed the bottom of my the anchor point that's in my machine now, and it has about 10 microns of deviation across the whole pad where the contact point is. I was like, that's close enough for today. When I make the fixture, I'll skim the back of it as well. But yeah, I was pretty impressed that whole stack up is like 10 microns of flatness. Like,
yeah.
I was pretty shocked. I'm like, sweet. Granted, it is only 2 things bolting together. It's the pad and the body. So they should be pretty coplanar. But yeah, I was pretty impressed with how coplanar it was.
10 micron isn't very much either. That's what?
It's really not. It's like a tenth of a hair. It's a tenth of human hair. It's really nothing. Yeah. And that was the discussion I had with Danica with the locating pins as well. Like, it's over by 20 microns. That's 8/10. It's not even a thou.
Yeah.
But that being over means you can't use a drill bush. So that's why I took my 50 dowel pins and put them in my drawer for using as dowels and bought linear shaft, because I'd rather have it undersized and sloppy than oversized and someone's got to use a pry bar to get it off of the anchor point.
Right. Yeah, no
so
doubt.
I chose to err on the side of undersized. And it's a lot tighter than I expected. I was honestly expecting minus 9 microns to minus 15 microns, because that's the actual spec. But it's, as far as I can measure, between minus 5 and minus 10 or so, depending on where and how I measure it. And like super consistently across all the pins. So I was like, good enough. Like, quite frankly, 10 microns is more than adequate.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
we're not YouTube machinists making lathe handles.
I was just going to say, like, it covers probably 95% of the use cases most people will ever run into. Like, everybody wants to be machining down to tenths, but there's like very little instances where that's needed. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why? Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
So I've got to shoot a video this week. It's on the to-do list of putting all my pallets in and just running through the different use cases and recommended use cases for the anchor point. Like, we're busy trying to get documentation together before the release, because kind of important to have documentation. So I've also got to make another pallet to machine some little brass reeds for, what are they called? Not accordion? I don't know. The freaking Dutchman squeeze box. You squeeze the thing and push the keys and it makes some music.
Oh, like accordion? Yeah.
It's not an accordion. There's Afrikaans.
Okay.
I call it a Dutchman squeeze box.
Just smaller than an accordion?
Small. Yeah, they're quite.
Yeah. I know what they're called too. I know a guy that makes them on YouTube or on Instagram. Whatever.
I know multiple people who make them, because I make parts for them.
Oh yeah.
I made 1,000 nuts. Little brass nuts. He's like, can you just make me 1,000 of these? Like next to nothing. I ran them out in a day.
Concertina?
Concertina, that's it. Yeah.
Concertina, yeah.
Dutchman squeeze box. Um,
Sugar squeeze pie.
so yeah, so I make all sorts of bits for him. So he was messaging me today. I've had some reeds on my table for like 3 months, 4 months that I meant to make a palette for and then forgot about. So I need to go look through all his DXFs of what he wants, make a palette, but then I'll do another video of making the palette and covering how to do that kind of work on the
Mm.
on the thing. Um, but yeah, like getting all the documents together, drawings of the palettes and making quick start guides, all the excessive amount of paperwork that I have to get in line to be able to sell something. So Danica's been
Well,
working on that.
that's awesome. I've had a few people kind of drop through my DMs and say that they're definitely interested in your product. So I
Yeah,
pointed them your way. Hopefully they bumped into you in the digital
yeah.
world.
I've noticed a lot more an uptick on new followers on Instagram, and also had a couple sign up for the Anchor Points newsletter, which there
Sick.
should be one going out this week. Just updating guys that it's in production. We're targeting the end of the month. If they are ready early, the guys on that mailing list are going to be the first to know. Like
Nice.
unless you're like scraping the website and keeping an eye on it, they're going to be the first ones to know. Because we'll release it and we'll message them first and say, listen, it's now available. Get one while it's
Nice.
hot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've still got to redo packaging because we're now using a double wall stock box 2 because it's double wall. I now need to reinvent all my packaging, which is a little annoying, but it's just par for the course, I guess. So I've
Yeah.
got some fancy thoughts on that, but that's like right now my push is to get the things that are out of my control done, which is anodizing. Heat treating's done. Everything else is kind of in my control from here on after the anodizing.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like I've got material for the pistons and the bases sitting there. I just need to make some time on the machine and run them, make fixturing and whatnot.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because as we go along, all the stuff's going to move on to anchor point fixtures. Because why not?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May as well use my own product.
Yeah. No doubt. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Like as it is, I'm machining the op2 of the bodies on an anchor point, and it is noticeably more rigid than the V2 that was in my machine.
Oh, yeah.
Turns out when you actually have proper contacts, it makes a big difference.
Okay.
the
I say,
V,
is it?
it was a turned, the pad was turned, and it actually went up towards the center, so it was contacting in the center, not across the whole pad. Now it's touching across the whole pad. Also, the greatest thing I've ever done was making that O-ring retained. Because now this is the first time I've used one of the. It's from V3. That was a feature, so yours has got it. V2, if you blew on the top of it, the O-ring would shoot out. The main top seal is really annoying.
Yeah.
So now I was like, blowing at it and doesn't go anywhere. It's the small things. And then I don't know if you saw the post from today. I put the new slide valves. They're freaking huge. They're like this big.
Yeah,
they're like double.
Yeah,
they're freaking massive. But yeah, they were also like a tenth of the price.
The amount of DMs I got from people being like, "That is such a cool valve. What is that valve called?" I'm like, "It's pneumatic slide valve." Like, I didn't know they existed either, but everyone's like, "That is such a cool valve. What are they?" I'm like, "A slide valve. I don't know. Talk to Jamie. He knows." Like,
yeah, I posted a thing a while ago and had the same response. People are like, "What the hell is that valve? It's so awesome." I'm like, "It's a slide valve."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you don't know they exist, yeah. Like
everyone's used to like the big Pearson, like the one he designed is nice. Obviously, it tells you if it's on or off, but like it's a big production. Like I don't think people realized that there's just like a small little like boop, boop version.
I looked at making them myself, but when I can buy them from China for the price I can buy them from China for, it's not worth it. If I buy them locally, it's worth me making them myself. But buying from China, in this case, is the easiest option. They're a bit bigger than I would have liked, but it is what it is. They do the thing, so and they don't get in the way. They're not so big that they get in the way, so it's okay.
Right. Yeah.
And then I need to still sort out the internal porting on my mooring point.
Yeah.
I need to make the little plates. I need to order a piece of 180 by 30 by whatever width I choose, and then I'm going to machine it and slitting saw it off. Because it's just holding it is such a freaking schlep. I'll just make a bunch of them out of a bar. I think it's going to be easier. Slitting saw all the things.
That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to look today. I'm just going to do some kind of brain simple stuff on the computer, but I'm going to look up those little self-centering vices, see how tiny I can get them. And I want to see if I can populate your palette with one or two of those.
Okay.
Because there is some work that I need that don't need, but it makes it a lot easier to have a vice for, because the raw stock is not, it's not
Not so
perfectly
nice.
uniform. Yeah. So it's just, and I have massive tolerance on it. So if I can just squeeze it, I don't care. But yeah, then if I can squeeze them in little vices and then just, because they're so inexpensive, those little
Yeah.
offshore vices
So
are like $100.
I have a model for a palette that takes one of the little Zhangdai, whatever they're called,
Yeah. It's like,
vices,
yeah.
because I've
Yeah.
got one of those. I bought a bigger one than that. That's I think a little bit better built. It's not. I assume you've seen them where they've got. It looks like threads, but straight on the side, like fingers on each side. That's what retains it from lifting. So it's
Okay.
not
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Yeah.
T slot. It's like fingers on each side, which I feel like are going to
Okay.
wear out a lot quicker than a giant freaking T slot.
Yeah. Possibly. I have no idea how they're made. I haven't seen any of them close up. So,
Yeah, so I've got both kinds, and I'll send you the actual T slot ones were a little bit cheaper as well. Well, at least with shipping to
wow.
me. Yeah.
I mean,
Um.
the price they're making any of these is insane. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah, no,
mind
no, not
boggling.
not worth
Like,
making them.
no,
What about using a just a mighty bot and a hardened rail?
I was thinking about that too. Yeah. I was thinking about that
Like
too. The
it
problem is the
depends what the
stock
range
is,
is. Yeah, what is the
yeah, the
stock range?
stock is about, well, the stock is really uniform. It just sometimes it's rectangular, but it's not, like, it sometimes tapers at the, how do I explain this?
Oh,
So
so
if the
it's
rectangle is like
rhombus.
this, it's sometimes a little fat in the center and kind of, it's like it almost gets pinched on the ends, which is totally fine.
Yeah,
But I'm burying about 80% of it in a vise and having about 20% stick up.
yeah,
Um,
okay,
so whatever fixture I make, it has to sink in pretty far, that's doable too. Um, that's the only complicated one for your palette. Every other part I make is really easy to put on your palette.
yeah.
But that one is the one I've
That
been
one,
like,
yeah. Raw
how am
stock
I gonna
is
fixture
always
this?
tricky. Like I've got two
Yeah.
self centerings. I do all my op ones and the self centerings. They're going to end up on a mooring point, mooring pallet soon. So a double span
Mhm.
that I can take them in and out the machine super quickly.
Yeah.
And then because they get used, they are dedicated to op ones. Like everything I do is done in there as an op one.
Well, and I was even thinking, instead of self-centering vices, what I could do is, because like right now I use two, like, essentially 4-inch machinist vices in my mill, or grinding vices, because they're just
Yeah,
stupidly, they're nice and rigid for their price. And I was like, you know what? I could buy itty bitty baby ones, like 2-inch ones, and slap two of them on a pallet. So I'd have like four of these little itty bitty vices on your pallets, and that would work perfectly fine. And they're cheap enough that, like, that would be
yeah,
my little op one fixture for holding these titanium, just raw stock parts. And it wouldn't matter if they're annoying to load, because, like I said, I go put two in,
yeah. You do it offline. Yeah,
load, hit go, and then go and load the next two. And, like, yeah. So I
yeah.
was thinking, I was like, instead of making a complicated fixture, I might just buy a bunch of these little vices and bolt them down.
Well, yeah.
They'd be the cutest things.
That is literally my plan. Well, I can't buy the vices that I bought. I just checked now to try to find the link for them, and they no longer listed. So I'm gonna have to buy different vices, I think, because I wouldn't mind another set so that I can do the exact same thing. Quick swap over, ka-chunk, drop in
Yeah.
two that are loaded, let it run. I need to still design the dry dock for the 2 and 4 pallet systems because that's going
Mm-hmm.
to become a necessity. I'm just going to buy a thick piece of HDPE and you just drop it into that and you lock one of the pull studs that it can't lift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was actually thinking of signing up for Teleport, which is Slant 3D's print on demand service, and
Okay.
loading them there. That if someone wants one, you can literally buy it. It gets printed in the US and fulfilled.
Oh, wild. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Then if you want one, you just order it through the web store, and it just arrives, printed, finished. So yeah, I was thinking of doing that, but I don't know. Kind of like the idea of a big chunk of HDPE because then I can also machine out where the pads contact so that there's no chance that you would have contamination dinging that because you obviously don't want to ding where the Z reference plane is.
Yeah. Less than ideal for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's on the to-do list, but not at the top of the to-do list currently. Like all my lovely process boards I made have to get remade now for the next batch because we bought some stuff in-house and I realized there's some things missing. But I mean that's what happens when you make things. You
Yeah.
learn because everything is a learning opportunity.
Yeah, I did the same thing when I made my first process boards. I made them really pretty with lots of colors and spent hours doing the layout and printed them. And like a week later, I'm like, this is stupid. I need to like reorganize so many of these steps and then just like redid them all. I'm like, why did I waste so
Uh,
much time? I should have just
I've
did it on
just got
graph
a
paper.
I've got an Excel document and I go and edit it. Then Danica goes and colors it in. She's got a rainbow going down the side for some freaking reason. And then we go down the
Nice.
road and it costs us $5 to print and laminate it on A3.
Oh, that's dirt cheap. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's color print and laminate for 2 sheets. It was like $100. So $5.
Wow.
Yeah, the dollar's doing all sorts of weird shit. It's really annoying. I was making lots of money per pallet system and now I'm making less money per pallet system. Like it was actually a conversation to put the store into euros instead of dollars because
Yeah,
that whole
that's
story
why
is
well, that's why I flipped my store over to Canadian just to be like, I don't like, yeah, it works for the most part. It's always been beneficial to me because like the dollar is always like
yes,
usually the Canadian dollar is always lagging. So like I'm usually always making more, but I'm like, at what like no, I need to stabilize this. So at least stabilize it for my
yeah,
income. I just don't want to keep I don't need to keep charging people more and more and more. It's I mean it
yeah.
sounds cool,
Well,
but
I
like
mean, we've
just
swung
stabilize this.
swung 50 cents, 50 rand cents, so South African rubles. Um, we swung 50 cents in the last 2 days, so it went from 19 rand 53 to the dollar down to 19 rand to the dollar this morning. It's wild at the moment. And yeah,
Yeah.
cool. It's not that much, but it adds up on a $500 purchase. That becomes a decent amount of money that is just swinging for no reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might switch currencies up there just to have it more stable. Because
Yeah.
then
Well, like I did all my
it would come down in price. It would be a 450 euro product or whatever. So
yeah,
but
like
yeah, anyway.
I think I did all my costing at like a dollar 32 or something Canadian, and now it's like a
Yeah.
dollar 40 Canadian, which is fantastic. I make great money, but it's like no, like I don't like it's okay. Like I'll flip it over. Like I don't need to keep
Well,
charging my Canadian and international customers more and more and more for something that's
yeah,
like it's like yeah, it's
it's
fine.
not costing you anymore. Like
It's not costing me anymore. And for the most part, I'm
because
onshoring like most of my suppliers. So it's costing me less. So it's like I don't need to be triple dipping here. Like,
well, that's the thing. Like with our aluminium, well, laser cutting. I sent off an RFQ on Friday. They only got back to me this morning for 5,000 of one of the small component we make. It was 2 rand 50, so that would be. So let me quickly put this into the imperializer just for context here. So that would be. Oh no, that's millimeters. 14 US cents per part. Ask for a price on 5,000 of them, and the price went up to 16 US cents per unit. So it costs
okay,
me an
yeah.
extra 43 cents per item. Granted, we print money on this. It's rather stupid. Like we order the parts, we pick them up from laser cutting, peel that stupid laser film off, bend them quickly in the arbor press. Um, I do 60 of them in like 4 or 5 minutes, and then they get thrown in the tumbler, tumbled, and they leave. Like it's free money effectively. But now they want 5,000 of these things. So we'll see if they come with that order. It'll be a nice order because Danica's going to liberate most of that money, unfortunately, because I'm going to make her do all the work. Like I have to buy another tumbler. Story of my life.
Yeah.
I've got to buy a proper rotary tumbler because there's 5,000 components are not going to do so well in a bucket.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could
That
probably
might
throw
be a lot.
500 at a time. Like I'm just going to buy a proper tumbler. There's a second-hand one for sale somewhere locally, or I'll just build a proper one. So like I've like, okay, cool. Some budget for that and some budget for a hardened tool steel tool. Because right now it's a mild steel tool that I reckon we'll get about 1,000 parts out of. I could just machine 5 of them because it takes me half an hour to machine. So just machine 5 of the fucking things. When it wears out, put in a new one. But I'd rather just have a hardened tool that I don't ever have to think about again.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
that, I mean, on that we only make about 50 US cents per part by the time it leaves the door for labor. But on 5,000 parts, it starts to add up very quickly,
Yeah. No
especially
doubt.
considering processing that is like 3 or 4 days worth of work.
Yo, 5,000 is a lot. Like, I don't care what you're making.
Yeah,
5,000 of anything is a lot of thing.
it's not that much. One of the
It's a lot to
first
even
big
count.
jobs I did on Bertha was 4,000 lawnmower bushes. So
Ugh.
25 diameter steel with a 14 mil hole through the middle, and then parts it off. And I could do
Yeah.
like 250 of them a day, or 500 of
Yeah.
them a day, or something
Nope.
stupid.
Pass. Unsubscribe. Nope. I don't want that. I don't want that. That's a lot.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what?
Okay,
Honestly, if I
let
had to make
me.
like 5,000 bushings, sure. But like, yeah, it's not my idea of fun.
Yeah, no, that's. Yeah, once you get it dialed in, if you can run it automatically, it's fine. Let me quickly shout out our Patreons. Well, our Patreon, who's on the
Ooh.
top tier there, Jade from Benchmark 20. And thank you to you and all the other Patreons who make this whole party happen. Greatly
Thank
appreciate it. If
you.
you guys are interested in checking it out, you can check out the Patreon. It's the Lone Machinists on Patreon. You can also check out the Lone Machinists website, thelonemachinists.com, where there are some fun things. There's the companion guide, which has all the fancy language that I use. There's also a link to the online store where you can pick up shirts and some other merch to help support the podcast as well. So I
I
thought
think
I'd
there's
just
like
get that out
hats
of the
too
way
or something
quickly.
now.
Yeah, there's hats and water bottles, I believe.
I say there's new things popping up. I'm like, hey, when did these
Yeah,
come here?
Danica, I blame her. Yeah, I wanted to get one of the hoodies, but then I was like, no. By the time I get it here, it becomes absurd. But yeah, so what is happening with your shrink fitting story?
So that is actually something I'm going to play with today because I went through and I found all the new MOSFETs that I got to buy for it. I don't have to buy, but I will buy for it. So I'm going to buy some beefy MOSFETs, and then I also realized it took
I
a
assume that's to rebuild the smoke machine.
rebuild the smoke machine. Yeah. So when I took the MOSFETs off there, I also started checking traces, and I realized that a couple of the diodes were toasted as well. They're all like logic level. So I think they just got kind of caught in the
Yeah,
crossfire. So I'll replace all those. I'll replace some resistors. I think they're all like, oh, I forgot the size of the component, 103 or something like that. SMD. They're crazy tiny. Um,
603.
Maybe
603.
603. I don't know. They're like
Yeah,
1 millimeter by
they're
2 millimeter.
horrible.
Really, really, really tiny ones. Yeah, they
Yeah,
look like grains of sand. Anyways, so I'll replace all of those, get that functioning again. That's besides the point. That's an easy kind of play thing. If that plan doesn't work, there's a commercial shrinker that one of my local friends has, and I actually have the website open here. It's made by I think Pioneer. It's an offshore unit, um, HSK 6K heating unit. So it's got a 6 kilowatt output, which is nice
jeez,
because then it should heat up the uh,
the tiny holder.
tool way faster, which will negate
Yeah,
the heat exchange between the two parts and let me pull it out. The one problem is it's broken. He does know it'll fix it. It's about $1,800 fix, but it's
okay.
about 10 to 12K to buy one of these new. So
Yeah,
he's like, hey, if you want it, he's like, I can ship it to you. You can suss it out. We can come out with a price. Everything works on it except it just doesn't produce, like, it doesn't drive the current to the coils, which
everything
is kind of nice.
except the actual functionality.
Everything except the one thing that you need it to do.
Yeah,
Like everything else I could have hacked around, but getting that to work, I'm like, oh, I
yeah,
mean, it's easy because it's like you said, it's an oscillating circuit. You just drop the straight, voltage and current right to the circuit, and it starts to oscillate, and it does what
yeah,
it needs to do. So I'm pretty sure I can just kind of bypass it, and I'm sure it's just a big SCR that's flipping the
yeah,
power over to it. So anyways, that's something that I'm probably going to end up just picking up and toying with it. If it ends up being a paperweight, it ends up being a paperweight.
yeah,
But if my first little plan with my little DIY cobbled together unit doesn't work, I'm kind of hosed. So I'm trying to hedge my bets in another
yeah,
sense, and this is kind of an easy way to get into something that works. If I really wanted to, I guess I could just buy it off him and then pay the whatever, $1,800 to the manufacturer to get all the parts that would actually make it work, because they're like, oh, this is pretty much guaranteed to make it work and function just like the brand new units. I was like,
yeah,
that's an option too, but it's just a lot of shekels to spend.
yeah.
So
No,
I don't know.
that's not a cheap endeavor.
I'm a fan of just kind of seeing if I can hack my way through it. It's not that complicated. They're pretty simple circuits, so
Yeah, no,
just
they're
lots
not
lots of
particularly.
power.
Yeah, lots of power, but yeah, not particularly complicated. Um,
No,
just out of interest sake, have you looked at the Haas heat shrinker?
I have not, but I don't even think I looked or even considered Haas for a shrinker.
Yeah, 6,000 and some dollars.
That's so cheap.
Yeah,
That is so cheap.
$6,100. It's on special because everything's always on special with Haas.
I know. Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I thought I'd just mention that. Might be.
that's a good point. No, that's a good point. No, that's a
Yeah,
wise
except
point.
it doesn't do it doesn't do BT30.
Oh, it doesn't think it can do BT30.
Yeah, 100%. Make an adapter.
Like
Like,
what? You can
uh,
do BT30. I'm sure you can. You
yeah,
just got
no,
to use
you definitely can.
a little bit of help.
Just put some tape on your holder and shove it in there.
Yeah, like yeah.
How much are their retention loops? Okay, let me not get distracted on their website here. But yeah, I thought I'd just check that out because I know they do everything under the sun because it's Haas
I
these days.
I'm amazed with Haas produces. It's just like they make everything. It's
I'm
yeah.
curious to see
You
how
know?
their pricing is going to be affected in the near future.
Oh, I think they're gonna
Yeah,
get hosed. Yeah, especially
I
if
think
things consider the way they're going right now. I think they're gonna get just murked.
you
But
just declare
eh.
everything as electronics. It's fine because apparently there's an exemption on electronics now. I've stopped following the
Everything
shit
isn't.
show because I just yeah,
Yeah,
it was hurting my brain.
yeah. Oh, I did
Yeah,
that a long time ago. I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. This
I've
is
been
too
following it a
much of a
bit
roller coaster.
more the last 2 weeks because of the Anchor Point release coming up, and that's going to affect me. So I've been following it a bit more, but it's a freaking clown show. It's a total clown show. It's great. Like, it's entertaining as all hell, especially because I don't live there. Makes it even more entertaining. But yeah,
Yeah,
it, what they've done is going to have some long term effects that they are going to kind of battle with. But yeah, we'll leave
yeah.
that a little bit off the podcast because it's a bit of a hot topic at the moment. Anyway, I made a 5C stopper today. Do you ever
Well,
use dead stops in your collets?
yeah. I have a brand new inbox one sitting on the other side of my lathe right now. That's been there
Ah,
for like a month because I bought it because I thought I would need it and haven't used it
I
because I had this
will send
grand
you
idea that it would work great. And now I just
so
realized I just buy collets and machine them instead.
yeah, that works too. So I needed one today for the 10 millimeter pins, and the one I have uses 16 millimeter threaded rod to be adjustable. So I drew one up quickly. Turns out you can thread a 24 TPR with a 1 millimeter pitch thread mill. Kind of. There's a little bit of
Okay.
error. There's 50 microns per rev. It's really like over 8 millimeters. You're not going to actually notice it. So I just told it that it was 24 TPR with a 1 millimeter 332 thread mill. The thread milled it till
Mm-hmm.
it went on, and then bored it for an 8 mil shaft. I need to make another two, one for a 3 mil shaft and one for a 4 mil shaft for some stuff that's coming down the pipeline, where I need to make tiny ass little pins. But yeah, works super super well. And yeah, if anyone is interested in that file, just DM me and I'm happy to share it. Uh, just yeah, useful thing. It literally is 16 millimeters long, threads into the back, smaller than it. It's 28 diameter, so it'll fit down the throat of most machines. Because that's the issue with my other one. It doesn't screw deep enough in, so I can't actually lock the collet, like the anti-rotation
Mm.
feature. We
Gotcha,
made
gotcha.
thousands of parts with it, but I wanted to go all the way in, so I made a new one. But yeah, works really well and super simple to make. You need a key seat cutter to do the hex if you want to do it in one op. So I machined the threads, key seat cut the hex, which is undercut, and then slitting sawed it off. So I've got a 24 hex on there to tighten it into the collet.
Nice.
But yeah, worked like a bomb. Okay, Curt, and then
Nice, nice.
your very deep and philosophical topic there.
Oh, yeah, the whole thing of time and health are the only currency you should ever be concerned with is that a good reminder this week where thankfully I was in a position where I've kind of set myself up where if I lost a week it didn't really stress me out or anything, but like that'd be the worst. Like especially working for yourself, that's something you don't really consider so much. You're like, I'll always feel good. It's like, yeah, you will feel good until you don't feel good. And like
Yeah,
that's it's all that matters is like your health and your time. It's the only things you can never get more of. You can always get more money. Like anybody will give you money. I always joke that you can go to 7-Eleven and get money. All you got to do is, sit at the cash register or pump gas, and they'll give you money for that. But
Yeah.
nobody will give you time, and nobody will make you healthy. And like, if you don't have any of those or either of those, you're hosed. Especially like us. Like I know you're guilty of it, and I'm guilty of it too. I mean, thankfully, my kids keep me from just working incessantly. But like otherwise, I would work like 12 hours a day, 9 days a week. But with them,
Yeah,
they
it's something I'm
yeah,
actively trying to not do is work myself into an
yeah,
early grave. Like Sunday, I had the anode tank failure, and I was like,
yeah,
that was my plan for the day, was run anode, get that done and deliver today. And that
yeah,
failed. And then I was like, okay, cool, let me make the mooring point. We had a family lunch. So when they got here, I was setting up for the mooring point. So I ran that. And then when I was doing the finishing pass, I went back, spent time with the family, and like took Sunday afternoon off. I don't normally,
right,
but took some time off. Even like, yeah, I'm in a crazy push at the moment because we're trying to get stuff through processes that are out of my control before the stupid season hits with all these public holidays. Because getting stuff done, like a lot of places, oh no, we closed for 10 days.
right,
Heat Treat is closed for 6 days. They close on the 18th and they're open on the 25th.
yeah.
Like, it's insane. So yeah, I'm pushing for that, but I do actively try not to work all the time. Like
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
and
like
like,
working into the night because I don't really want to annoy my neighbors too much. Especially now with like the bodies. That T-slot cutter sings. Holy cow.
yeah,
Like
yeah, I
it's
bet.
not quiet. It's doing 6,000 RPM and slotting through the side of the pot. It sings. So like I try not to annoy my neighbors more than necessary. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I am very much guilty of working 7 days a week. And that's mostly
Oh,
because on Saturday and Sunday, my phone doesn't ring.
yeah, we all are. That's the problem is when you run your
Yeah,
own world, you can like, yeah, we all like it. That's the problem. It's not like we're
yeah.
doing this because we don't like it. It's like, yeah, we enjoy what we do, so we do it all the time. And then before
So,
you know it, you're doing that all the time. And then like, yeah, it's just
so
like it's gonna
Friday, I think it was
kill you
Friday.
slowly.
So Friday night we went to dinner for my cousin's birthday, and I was chatting to someone there, and I'm like, yeah, no, I didn't like my 9 to 5, so I got myself a 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right.
That is it.
Yeah.
At the moment, especially as a one man shop, it's really hard to work on the business, not in the business. Like
Yeah.
Danik and I will take a more like. Unfortunately, there's a restaurant about 50 meters up the road from my house, and their food has gotten good again. It was bad for about 4 years, and now it's gotten good again. They got under new management,
Perfect.
but they do a
Perfect.
breakfast. So
Yeah.
I'll take a walk up there in the morning instead of turning the machines on at like 7, 8 o'clock. I'll take a walk up there and go and sit and plan. Okay, what are we getting through today? What is urgent? Like just stop, reset, plan what needs to be done. Because otherwise, I get
Yep.
into the workshop and I will faff around in there all day and achieve nothing.
Totally.
So I
Yeah.
have been trying to manage my ADHD, but not always easy.
Yeah. Well, and you don't have to always succeed at it, but like as long as we're all like conscious of it, because
As
like
long as you're
I mean, my
trying.
wife said that. Yeah, my wife she gets every other Friday off or something like that, and I'm like, you know what? You know what my next goal is going to be is like to get myself into a position where I've got enough things automated, enough processes going, where I can like take a Friday off with you, even if it's just a Friday morning off with you, and not be stressed about it. Because like, yeah, could I take a Friday off like this week? No problem. Like, of
Sure,
course
yeah,
I can.
but
But
then
will I be stressed about
what?
it? Of
Yeah, what
course,
falls
because
behind
yeah,
in
yeah, I'm already behind. So if I take another Friday off, I'm going to be like, and just like, it's not going to be enjoyable for me. So like, yeah, my next goal is to be able to take her Fridays off with her, not be
yeah,
stressed about it and be able to go out for like breakfast or like if she wants to go antique shopping, like, yeah, let's go do that because maybe it's not something I want to do precisely, but it's like,
don't do
it's,
antique shopping.
I don't, it's, I can turn my brain off. I'm not thinking
Yeah,
about machining. Like I can go enjoy the sunny air. I can have a friggin' coffee. Like that's good for my brain case. Like in the long run, that's super good for my brain case. Like even in the mornings, I exercise in the mornings typically, and I'm always like, oh, this impacts. I could get an extra hour of machining done. It's like, or I could not, and
yeah.
I could keep exercising and keep my body, decently healthy and, potentially do this another 15 years longer than if I, shortchange this 1 hour of my day. And,
No,
it's like
exercise is the
the,
devil, Kurt.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Don't take care of your bone mech. Yeah. It's not important. It's the one
No,
thing
not at
that's,
all.
yeah.
I'll deal with that
Yeah,
when
no,
I'm old.
it's the dumbest thing. So, I'll sleep when I'm dead. It's like, no, you'll die. Like, you
Yeah.
got to sleep.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
just
I bought a 6-pack of Monster or 4-pack of Monster today because I figured I was going to run an all-nighter because if you weren't going to podcast, I was going to keep running. And I was going to pull all-nighter and get my anodizing stuff finished.
oh,
But then
yeah,
the material didn't arrive. That's only going to arrive 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So there's no point in me burning the midnight oil when I've got to
yeah,
machine another 12 parts. Like, that can wait. Like, I'll
yeah.
run into the night tomorrow and then drink 4 Monsters to stay awake. Like, I
But
actively avoid Monster, but when you got to pull all-nighter.
we all do it. Like, I'm totally hypocritical because I definitely won't get good sleep, and I definitely won't eat well, and I definitely will have like weeks where I don't get good amount of exercise, and like yada yada yada. But like, try for all of it because like at the end of the day, we're all gonna die, and like
Yeah,
let's try not to die sooner than we have to.
exactly.
So,
Like, yeah.
I don't know.
No, you got a point there. Like, we actually took the dogs for a walk the other evening. I don't normally like walking because I have petrol in my freaking car. Why the fuck am I walking somewhere? But we took the dogs. But jeez, the boy was so excited. He was uncontrollable. Like, I was walking him. I was getting annoyed with him because he wasn't staying next to me. Danica was eventually like, no, must she take him? I'm like, yeah, you try this. So I took the girl, and she was getting annoyed with him because she does the training with them every week. And he was just so excited to be going out that he was a little bit of a hazard. And then I decided to run back the last little bit with the female, and she didn't know what was happening because I've never run with her before. I would run with Drax, but ran with Kane. She was trying to bite my hand. She was like, "We're playing. This is the best."
Yeah,
And Drax
yeah.
took off when I took off and dragged Danica along. It was great. But yeah, like, doing a bit of exercise is always a good idea.
Well, yeah, and a dog is like that's a great life hack to like guilt you into it. Like I have a
Yeah,
dog and she looks at me every night and it's like, "Hey, we going for a walk?" It's like, "Of course we are, girl." Like it doesn't matter. Like if I don't feel it, it's like she does. So
she
let's
wants to
let's
go.
go.
Yeah,
And you know
no.
what? I always feel better. I go on a walk, I throw a
Yeah,
podcast on, chill in the night air. Like I got no one to bug me. It's just like that's one of my favorite
yeah,
times. So it's like,
I swore at someone today on the phone. So I bank with F&B, who quite frankly can go jump off a freaking bridge at this point. Um, I'm tired of that bank. But anyway, been getting a call from their funeral cover. So I answer the phone. I see it's F&B, so I assume it's something they need to speak to me about. Answer the phone, and then it hangs up. Then it phones me again, like 30 seconds later. Hangs up. So I blocked the number. And then, unrelenting, like 6 calls a day. Eventually I got through to someone today and asked him to politely leave me alone with lots of F's thrown in there. I've had enough. And then I blocked the number. I'm like, I'm done with this. I was on, I think, in the course of last week, 4 or 5 times, I was on a call with a customer and got a call. And then my Truecaller doesn't work because I'm on a call. And it ended up just being spam calls and wasting my fucking time. Like, yeah, it's been relentless the last 2 weeks. This number of spam calls I've been getting. It's like, yeah. So they've been
gotta
politely told to go jump off bridges.
gotta quit putting your phone number in all to those bad sites, Jamie. You
Well,
need
I've
to use
had
the fake
this.
phone numbers for those.
Well, I've had this phone number for no. Now I feel old. For 19 years, I've had the same phone number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's been out there, and yeah, it's been around. Like, I don't want to change my number, then I have to memorize a new number. Screw that. But yeah, literally had this phone number for 19 years at this point. So it gets a lot of bullshit. Like, even spam SMSs. Yeah. And other
Oh yeah.
than that, customers phoning and wanting things. Ridiculous. Just give me money and go away. You don't need work from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, like we
Oh,
do. Thing is, we do a lot of that. Well, I used to do a lot of consulting and fixing machines and things, and I'm trying to move out of that
right. Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
can make a lot more money in my workshop than I can doing that crap.
Yeah. No fair. 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 Fair.
Yeah, actually, just while we were on the podcast, I was doing maths again. I did some maths on how
Nice.
many, because now I actually know what the cycle times on the anchor points are. Now that I've actually run the production code and all that, and I did the maths on how many I can actually make in a month.
Mm.
It's not as many as I thought, but yeah, we'll save that for the
Well,
after show for the people
yeah.
who
Fair
actually
enough.
care. Like, don't need to
Yeah.
be spouting that too much. So yeah, the
No.
Patreons get an after show. Anyone at one of the paid tiers gets access to the after show where Kurt and I discuss super secret things usually, or we rant
Or
about
we're
things, or tell
or I
people
just
that Imperial's
watched
horrible.
or I just say you're not watch Jamie do math.
Yes, it's super super exciting to watch me do maths. Yeah, I shared that on my Instagram.
Oh.
Danica making fun of me.
Oh.
Yeah, the music
What have
made
you been
it so much
googling
better.
this? The music was perfect. Like you couldn't have picked a better. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
no,
just
no, she knows
yeah.
how to make fun of me properly. So let me see what I have been googling. I've been watching
Yes.
on YouTube. I've been watching Brightside Films. He does a series called Bankrupt, and
Okay.
there's another series he does. Yeah, very interesting. Like TWA and Pan Am, all
Mm,
these companies, big companies that went bankrupt, and how that all came about. Quite interesting stuff.
that's
Okay,
cool.
let's see. What have I been goggling? So, along with doing the Wordle every day, I now do
Hmm.
Strands, which is also a New York Times game thing. And then looking at the Rand dollar, was also Googling what the how many milliamps a 50 watt laser tube should draw because my laser wasn't lasering because I put the long lens in and it was touching the nozzle. So the nozzle was channeling all my
Mm-hmm.
energy. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Googling linear shaft, trying to find where I can buy solid boring bars locally, um, but can't. Oh, look, I Googled Rand dollar again.
Yeah.
Um, I'm looking at a battery powered uh, circular saw for breaking down sheet goods for the laser,
Yep.
like when I order a sheet of plywood. So I kind of
Yep.
want to convince myself that I need to buy one of those. Yeah, that's all that's in the googly things. And except
Oh.
for this, what is this? Laboratory supply equipment. The people who don't have stock of the acid that I ordered.
Mm.
One would expect that laboratory supply place would have stock of acid, but they don't. And they made me buy 2.5 liters of it, which I didn't really want. But yeah, what have
Yeah.
you been googling, Kurt? How to
I've been
heal from a
googling.
cold?
Actually, I did definitely Google some weird things because I was like, how long can you have a fever before your brain starts to like expand and squeeze out of your ears or something bad? So uh, apparently a long time. Anyways, yeah, some stuff related to that. A lot of stuff related to Vorons that basically led me down the rabbit hole of printing my own Voron is silly. So now I put all those parts into a bin of my bin of regret, which is full of other printed parts that I've started for other printers and never finished. And it's just like,
Uh,
it's probably kilos of plastic where I'm like, wow, this was neat and fun at the time, but I will never, ever do anything with this. But I can't throw it out because they're pretty parts. So I'll put them in a box for a year and then I'll throw them out. Um, so yeah, I've been Googling that, Googling a bunch of MOSFET stuff for those circuits, bunch of heat shrink stuff. I actually found a bunch of articles. I can't remember the company right now. I linked their stupid site and now they send me PDFs every single day about
oh,
all the
jeez.
technical details around like induction coils and whatnot. It's like, I'm not trying to make my own industrial like smelter, but they think I am. So, yeah.
Got to watch where you put that email address, Kurt.
I do, yeah, exactly. And I also Googled how old Canada is
Ooh.
because on all the Canadian pens I made, they're going to be a limited series run. So
Yeah.
Canada is
Oh,
150. Yeah, Canada is 158 years old. So I'm only going to
is
make
that all?
150. Yeah, yeah, we're not very old at
So
all.
I
No,
say,
I
is
like.
that all? I mean, we've been around for like 400 and something years in sunny South Africa.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I was sitting in a bar in Boston a lot of summers ago now, and I was like, "Ha, this bar is twice as old as Canada," and yeah, kind of laugh at that. But anyways, I'm 158 years old, which means I'm only making 158 of these pens. So
Nice.
this is actually I haven't even announced this yet. I'm gonna announce this eventually, but all the pens that went out, they got a little card that says like one of 158, two of 158. So yeah,
Okay.
once I max out on those, I'm not going to make any more of those. So I just kind of be a little bit more fun for people. Either people will be mad because there's only going to be made that many, or people will be happy because they'll be limited. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'll get it
Well,
from both
every year
sides.
you
So
can make one more.
That's true. Yeah, every year I can release one more. Anyways,
Uh,
that's basically
okay.
been and that and just a bunch of dumb stuff. But that's the most interesting stuff I've been googling. Everything else is just kind of lame. Oh, and the satellite. They're trying to recover one of the oldest satellites that they put into space. I think
Oh, okay.
Vanguard 1. Yeah, they
Oh,
pushed it up
wow.
into
Okay.
they pushed it up in
Into a
100 or
parking orbit.
yeah, 1958 I think is when it went up there, and they put it up into a far enough orbit that it doesn't degrade, and they're
Yeah.
thinking about picking it up and bringing it back, that's kind
Oh,
of
cool.
cool. I don't know, I kind of like
Yeah,
that stuff.
that's really cool. Now, I dig
I
space
remember,
stuff. Like, I
oh man,
really
so do I.
do. Like, Scott Manley's videos, I thoroughly enjoy them like his deep space updates. That's where I get most of my, like, updatey stuff is from him.
Yeah, I remember
Uh,
being little and being like, I wonder if I could see Sputnik, and then it took me a long time to realize, like, no, Sputnik deorbited like a few months
like,
after it was put
2
into
weeks
space. But
after.
I was like, I want to
Yeah.
go look at it. It's like, no, you can't. I'm sorry, little friend, but anyway, yeah. So I kind of like
Uh,
that stuff.
yeah, no, Scott, I used to watch a lot of the stuff when Starship and they were doing Starhopper and whatnot, and they were like
Yep.
weekly update channels. And I've just
Yep.
fallen off the wagon with that now. It's like I'll watch Scott Manley. He generally covers everything I'm interested in, and if there's something interesting, I'll go dive into it myself.
Yeah.
No, and obviously
Yeah.
Everyday Astronaut. But yeah, he doesn't post that much anymore. He
Yeah.
posts
Yeah. No, I
really
post.
long form stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll watch some of his stuff, or I'll put it on while I'm in the shop here when I'm watching
Yeah,
listen to his
yeah.
giant Q&As for all the live streams or whatever.
This week's been very light on podcasts because there's no PFG live this week and next week. There's 2 weeks without it. So I had the Lean Build
Yeah.
podcast this morning where they discussed holsters and gun nomenclature, which was really actually quite interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, because what's it? Andrew is also, he's like obviously really into that. So he was going
Mm-hmm.
in like, he was saying, no, the SIG, they made the handgun modular, but their naming convention is insane. And then also Glock, their naming convention is insane. And he was going through it all, like, because he knows it all off by heart. Like, he was running through it all with Jay. And it was very, very interesting. But yeah, that's part of my Monday routine is them and PFG, because I
Mm-hmm.
generally don't catch PFG live because it's a bit late here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, been listening to a shitload of music because there's been nothing to listen to. Like since Saturday, I finished WAN show and then there's been nothing. It's been a bit
Yeah.
rough. Like I Saturday, part of my routine is WAN show. It's like 3 hours long from Linus Tech Tips, and I just put that on a Saturday and keep up to date with tech. Yeah, they have the what do they call their sale? The ship show sale or something. Like beat the ship show, because yeah, they're trying to move inventory now before
Yeah.
craziness happens.
Yeah. I know everyone's getting all those people that are, well, yeah, that's another testy
That's a whole
topic. So we can just
yeah.
glaze over that. But yeah.
Okay, well, where can people find your information, Curt?
Well, if you want to find the lack of anything that I've put out in the last week, you can visit confoundedmachine.com, where you will find links to here and links to sales. Actually, I have a whole wackadoo of pens that were supposed to go on sale last week, but since I was in hibernation, they'll probably go on sale sometime near the end of this week if I can get my act together. They're like 80% complete, so that's kind of nice. Yeah, all the information's over there. How about you, Jamie?
Yeah, you can find my things at jspeceng.com. I've got a section there for the anchor points. If you sign up for the newsletter, there will be one coming out very shortly. There's also a link to the old newsletters on there on the anchor point page. You can also find some shirts and goodness that is available there. I think they're only available for a few more weeks before Danica releases a new set of artwork. So she's doing that every 4 months or so. She's releasing new artwork.
Ooh.
And there's also the frame lock utility knife available on the website, which is probably not going to be available when I release the anchor point, because I don't want to have to ship from 2 different locations, because that stock's all sitting in the UK. So I think I might pull those down while I do the anchor point release. But we will see how that all shakes out close to the time.
Nice.
And then you can find the podcast at thelonemachinist.com, where there's an online store for merch and a link to the Patreon and a bunch of other fun things that Danica has put on there for us. So yeah, what are you going to be up to today, Curt?
Today, I'm probably going to sit at the computer and do a bunch of CAD work and do a bunch of part ordering. And I'm going to order probably some more end mills for those tiny screws because I have to make more of those. And just a bunch of stuff where I don't have to move around because I don't want to push my luck. Still feeling a little not 100%. So I don't want to give it too much gas, then set myself back.
Yeah.
But yeah. How about you?
Well, I'm gonna go sleep for the rest of the day. Gonna probably have another hot ginger, yeah. But tomorrow morning we're gonna carry on with machining the anchor point bodies, and then once those are done, they can head off to anodize. I just got a message from Justin Gray, so he's the reason that the anchor point has the 96 millimeter pull stud holes, and yeah, he says, yeah, I don't know why anybody would want 96 millimeter studs in this thing. Quote is attributed to the great Jamie Peacock because he asked for that. And I'm like, that seems like a really stupid thing. And now I'm using it to mount them and to machine them. But yeah, like that is very much courtesy of Justin Gray, the reason that we rolled to a V4 of the product and it is a significantly better product for it. So thank you, Justin. He's also one of our Patreons. But yeah, you messaged me right at the end of the podcast. Well done. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening. You can find us on... Words are hard. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and I think most of the podcast players at this point. We're also on YouTube. There isn't any video yet, but I think that is coming down the pipeline. And then you can watch our faces while we talk. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. And Patreons, we'll see you in the after show.
Take care, all.